kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Welcome everybody into Sim Racing Media. Tonight we are home to the Brownney Racing League 50 from Talladega. It is championship night here in the Brownney Racing League Xfinity Series. Got three contenders going for the title. We've got Chris Smith, Evan Kinney, and Nathan Brown. So you'll see them when they start to race. Their name will be a little different color. It'll be blue instead of the white, so you'll know exactly where they stand. It is winner take all tonight, or best finisher. So we'll see what happens once they get going here. They have started qualifying, so we will jump down and take a look at that. Looks like Gabriel O'Rourke just completed his first time lap. Talladega is a little bit different here when you are talking about where they start. Jamie O'Rourke 53.82 because their start finish line is after they exit pit road. Kevin Becker with the 53.76. Evan Kinney not so far behind with the 53.77. Jeremy Moore up there with the 53.81. So these guys are all putting it down all about the same on track right now. Looking at Evan Kinney. Evan Kinney has won the most races this season. Out of 7 starts, he's got 4 wins, looking to cap it off with the win here in the championship race at Talladega. Didn't quite get all the speed he wanted out of that with the 53.77. Chris Smith, another championship contender up here. He's been consistent. He's made 8 starts in these out of the 10 races that they've had. He's had 8 top 10s. That finds himself up there inside this top 3, battling it out for that championship. That time by went a 53.76, good enough to sit right behind Keith Prince. Keith Prince was also the fastest one in practice. But in practice, they were working on their drafting, and that got the time down to just a little under 51 seconds. So single car qualifying is a little bit different here. Like Timothy Cook finished his second lap with a 53.77. David Taylor out on track as well, 53.77. So all these guys are running almost identical times. It's going to be all about who you brought with you and whether or not you can trust them to push you towards the finish line. Like Trevor Ryan just completed his first lap, 53.82. Still waiting on 3 to get going here. Nathan Brown, Zach Usher, and Philip Bridgman. And that is it for qualifying. So they're going to start at the back based on their I rating. Keith Prince will get the pole here. Up the race info real quick while we're waiting for everybody to jump into their cars. Like I said, it is the Championship 3. Chris Smith, Evan Kinney, and Nathan Brown will battle it out here. It is 50 laps around this a little over 2.5 mile super speedway. It is, like I said, 50 laps, but then they throw a little wrench in your plans there as they only give them a 45% fuel load. Let's see if we can get down to the track now as these guys have got loaded in. Keith Prince and Chris Smith, front row. Row 2, Kevin Becker and David Brayler. Timothy Cook, Evan Kinney in row 3. Row 4, Haas Beverly and Tom Richter. Jeremy Moore and Trevor Ryan in row 5. Row 6, Jamie LaRourke and Nathan Brown. Zach Duster and Philip Bridgman round out the field. They should be set to go. 3 sets of tires, 45% fuel load, 50 laps, all to decide who is going to bring home the championship trophy here. Like just waiting on one more driver to hop in. Back through the field here. They will start their pace lap here. We should see some really good racing. All these guys have been running basically around the same amount of same lap times in practice when they were hooked up with whoever they were working with at the moment. Just like we saw in qualifying, all these cars have similar speed. Going to be all a matter of pit strategy and what you can do with your teammates here. Keith Prince will lead them to that start-finish line once the pace car dives off. It is quite a little ways from the entry of pit road to that start-finish line. Keith Prince leads them down to that green flag. Getting close to that restart zone here. They are underway at inside lane. Keith Prince had about 2 car lengths on Chris Smith there on that outside. But here they are. Prince and Becker hooked up. Timothy Cook was looking to maybe make an early move to go to that outside lane, but thought better of it there and is falling in line as they're single file now working through the backstretch. Looks like David Traylor is in that outside lane, going to try and bring Chris Smith. Chris Smith got down to the inside. That's the 34 of Tom Richter up there in that high lane as well. But it looks like they're not really any match for these top two, as Prince and Becker are working really well together right now. Timothy Cook getting sucked into the back bumper of Becker there. Then behind the front three, as Prince slides up the track, I don't know what he's trying to do up there. Maybe get out of the front row. Looks like Kevin Becker's probably gonna try and take the lead, or he noticed something we didn't, as the 54 of David Traylor was trying to get that outside line to get going pretty quick there. So Keith Prince jumped up in front of that, and now he is leading the outside row. Kevin Becker's leading the inside and the race. But Keith Prince battles back on that outside lane and is going to lead the second lap there. Working on lap 3. So Kevin Becker pulls out. It looks like he was just trying to get out of the way. It's going to kind of cause a little bit of a shakeup up front here, as Prince and Traylor stay in that high lane a little ways. It leaves Tom Richter and Trevor Ryan down low. But Prince and Traylor are now hooked up. Looks like Keith Prince is in a car that is able to be pushed pretty well here. Up in the high line, though, looks like it's the 2 and the 12 coming all the way from the back. They're up 7 and 6 positions respectively. Looks like Chris Smith elected to back out and let these guys race up front. As I said, it's going to be a little bit of a fuel mileage race, and who brought you here? Tom Richter in that low lane gets the good run after the push from Trevor Ryan, and they are out in front now. Looks like Keith Prince lost the man that was pushing him in David Trailer there, but up front it's still Richter Ryan and Timothy Cook up high. Looks like Haas Beverly was down low and Keith Prince was going to try and help push him to the front, but he is up and down the track trying to find a spot where he wants to be. Keith Prince got about a half a nose sitting to the outside there. As Tom Richter looks like he had a little connection issue, disappeared for a second. And now the guys that started in the back of the field are up front, one and run two. Zach Douche. I'm going to mess your name up forever, Zach. Sorry, man. And Philip Bridgman are 1-2 now. Haas Beverly just behind them. But these teammates here are hooked up and working together. If we can go on the nose here of Bridgman. The Aerokinetics teammates. You just see how close they get there. Like he's trying to get a little bit of air to that nose as he dives out just a little bit. And behind them, Haas Beverly and Keith Prince, but they are not hooked up like the two front runners are at the moment. Looks like the 54 of David Trailer is starting to close in just a little bit with Tom Richter on his back bumper. They can get that line stabilized as you see him kind of bounce around just a little bit. They can get it stabilized and get a little more or a little less air being disturbed. They should be able to get the 4 or 5 of them together and move past the top two. Zach leading the race here. Two teammates are hooked up and they are just almost driving away with the race at the moment. Haas Beverly from Ohio. Tom Richter. Trevor Ryan. Timothy Cook. Jamie O'Rourke. Evan Kinney. Becker. Jeremy Moore. Nathan Brown. Right now, all the championship contenders are just outside the top 10. Except for Chris Smith. Chris Smith is currently riding in 10th with Evan Kinney all over his back bumper there. Nathan Brown's hanging out at the back of the pack, just kind of riding around getting some laps counted here. Up front, these teammates are just almost driving away. I think if the guys back behind them there kind of get sorted out a little bit, they could probably make a little bit more time, but they're managing basically a quarter-second gap every lap here. Guys are all single filing out, trying to see when we could expect pit stops because they only did a 45% fuel load, so don't know if they can quite make it to halfway. We'll see what happens here. As these guys are riding around, we're going to take a quick break, 1 second, and we'll be back momentarily. Once again, this is the Brownney Racing League Brownney Racing League 50 from Talladega, Championship 3 on the line here. All right, welcome back, everybody. We have not missed anything. These guys are single filing it out, trying to ride around a few laps. And it looks like Chris Smith is jumping out to that high lane, followed by Evan Kinney. Looks like they might get that second line working here, as Kevin Becker also jumps out there like he was going to, and then he slid back down. So it's just a 2-car run on that outside, and they are moving pretty well here. As we went from the back of the pack up to about 7th right now, and it looks like the leaders hit pit lane. So like I said, I don't think they could quite make it to halfway. So it's going to be interesting to see who elects to come down now. Haas Beverly leading some laps here, as almost everybody behind him hits pit lane. The middle group on pit lane now: Tom Richter, Trevor Ryan, Timothy Cook, Jamie LaRourke, and Chris Smith. I imagine we're going to see these guys come down pit road this time. Evan Kinney, Kevin Becker, Nathan Brown, and Jeremy Moore. So we'll see if they're going to do that, or we're going to try and stay out another couple laps. But I don't know if it's going to pan out as the 22 hits pit lane. Looks like everybody else hits pit lane. So that's going to give the lead back to Zach Dutcher and Philip Bridgman. If they can make it back around here pretty quick. Looks like everybody else is in their pit lane right now. Everybody's out. But I don't think they're going to be able to get up to speed before the 2 and the 12 get back to that backstretch where pit road exits here. Keith Prince is about 3 seconds in front of these guys and is closing every moment. And there is a pretty big line of them, and it looks like they might get stuck back there. Keith Prince and Evan Kinney now will lead the race. So we got a couple guys that pitted on lap 16, a couple on 17, and everybody else on 18. So we know there's going to be at least one more lap, or one more pit stop. It all depends on how you want to attack the race. Because the way these guys are going, it's going to be hard to make up any track position right now. Let's go ahead and let's jump on board with Nate Brown here. Kind of working that high line there. Like he's going to get by the 22. It'd still be down to his inside, and he is. Like the 22's getting that draft from that inside lane. I don't know that anybody is with Brown. Oh, there you go. Got a couple more up there. The Brown's leading that outside lane with Timothy Cook behind him. The inside lane has Keith Prince and Evan Kinney. So all three championship contenders are inside the top 5 right now as they run. Nathan Brown leading the race, just a touch in front of Keith Prince. Keith Prince battles back on that low side, as that low line gets a little bit better run coming through the corner. As we're getting close to halfway here. But Chris Smith almost thought about trying to almost split the middle there a little bit. If he had a little bit more run, he might have got inside of Timothy Cook and sent him to the 3 lane as Keith Prince jumps out of line and kind of looks like he's going to fall back. So now all 3 championship contenders are down on that inside row. Nathan Brown, Evan Kinney, and Chris Smith. 1, 2, 3 down low. Up on that high lines, Timothy Cook and Kevin Becker. So the first half of the race, we saw the championship contenders kind of fade to the back, and Chris Smith jumped out to the high side and is going to push Timothy Cook towards the front. If he's going to jump down low or if they're going to stay up high. It looks like Timothy Cook does slide down. Chris Smith just enough room to get in front of Nathan Brown. Leaves Jamie LaRourke out there in that high line all by himself, which will shuffle him back, probably back behind Keith Prince there, unless he can side draft some here. So Chris Smith up to second, gets a little loose there, it looked like. Trying to find a spot to go behind Timothy Cook. It's about a half a nose outside of that back bumper there. Get some air on the grill. Ducks back in. These guys are all basically right together here. From first to 12th in this group, they're only about a second apart. Jamie LaRourke is making that outside line work. He's not really losing any time, as he's now almost even with Chris Smith for second. He's just staying up there up high. Chris Smith jumps up in front of LaRourke, and here he goes to the lead. Timothy Cook stays down low. We'll see if LaRourke is going to dive down with Chris Smith here, but it looks like both of them are going to stay up high as they found a area of the track that seems to be working. Chris Smith notices the run down low, jumps down low to cut that line off, and he is still out in front. Jamie LaRourke still holding on that outside lane, even with nobody around him. That was Trevor Ryan and Tom Richter off the pace there. Chris Smith and Timothy Cook looks like they were working together. They both hit pit lane at the same time there, along with Jamie LaRourke. On lap 17, the guys just behind them pitted on lap 18. We're just over halfway now in the Brownney Racing League 50 Championship 3 right now, as you can see on your screen. Chris Smith up in first, Nate Brown in fourth, and Evan Kinney in fifth. And Jamie LaRourke still working that high line out there all by himself. not really losing any positions or time. Usually when we come to Talladega, if you get out of line, you're going to go back to the end of the line there, but Jamie LaRourke made it work, stayed out there for quite a while, jumped down in front of Timothy Cook, and now is sitting second right behind Chris Smith. That 55 Chevy of Chris Smith is on the move a little bit here. He's been working this last 10 laps up towards the front after kind of hanging out the first half of the race. We'll see how this works once they decide to make their final pit stop here. Is that's going to be the interesting part as these guys are battling it out. Because once we hit lap 32, 33, these guys know they can make it to the end. If you guys are watching this and think you want to join the league here on Thursday nights, looks like they are going to start a new season on May 11th. They're going to switch it up a little bit and go to those Gen 4 cars everybody's talking about here on iRacing. So it is going to be another 10-week season. May 11th through July 13th. So if you're interested in that, let them know. I'm sure they're glad to have you. These guys are all spread out on track now. Everybody's looking which way to go. As Chris Smith got up to that high line, and Nathan Brown's right behind him. Evan Kinney is down to the inside of Chris Smith, but now Smith is kind of left out all by himself. The aide of Timothy Cook jumps up to give him a little helping hand there. And Jamie LaRourke's blocking that low line and trying to keep Evan Kinney back there in second. If you guys are on YouTube, go ahead and tell me who you think's going to bring home this championship here. All three of these guys are working really hard. Like I posted there, you have a top gun in Evan Kinney. Won a majority of the races in this league. Nathan Brown brought home one win, I believe it was last week at Martinsville. And Chris Smith has just been very consistent and was able to stay inside that top three to get him a championship opportunity here as we hit that 20 laps to go. But it looks like that outside lane just is not quite holding up with just two guys out there. Only one I saw that was making that work was Jamie LaRourke, and he is up front now on that inside lane. We'll get a couple more laps here to go, so we can definitely make it to the end on fuel. That outside lane's getting a little bit more speed. We'll see if they're going to be able to get back towards the front. And it looks like they're able to hang pretty close right now, as Cook and Smith are working that high line. LaRourke and Kinney down low. Just jump on board here with Chris Smith. You can kind of take a look from his nose on how he's running here. You can kind of hear that throttle control you have to have. That's the other thing, as you see he starts to get sucked up into that draft and gets almost to that rear bumper there of Timothy Cook's LA Golf number 8, but gets a little bit too much of a run. Has to kind of pull out and back out of the throttle just a little bit to stay back there. So that's kind of the way this race has been shaping up here. As Chris Smith dives down to the inside, he's going to let Timothy Cook in there. And we're going to be single filed out again with 18 laps to go. So that was the number here, as everybody now should be able to make it on fuel, as they made it the first 18 laps pretty well, but you're going to want at least a couple more if 18 was max fuel load and that's all you got, because it is Talladega and anything can happen at any moment in time. So we should start seeing pit stops momentarily here. As the 8 of Timothy Cook, Kevin Becker all jump up to the high side. We know they are not probably pitting now. And there we go. Evan Kinney takes over the lead. Keith Prince in second, Nathan Brown third, Kevin Becker in fourth, Jeremy Moore in fifth. They are all making their money stop here. We're going to see who gets off pit lane first, as Chris Smith's also in here. And it looks like Timothy Cook out. Chris Smith out in second, beats Jamie LaRourke. And they're hoping they can get back up to speed pretty quick. It looks like that early pit didn't work out so well the first time around, as a couple more takers head to pit lane. Evan Kinney still out on track. 15 laps to go now. Keith Prince back in second. Kevin Becker. Nathan Brown. I'd bet to say we're going to see this whole group pit at the same time, but I've been wrong before. And it looks like all of them are coming down, just like last time. Everybody locks it up. Ooh, contact. Contact there. See how this works out here. Who gets out of pit lane first here? Evan Kinney out first. Better get separated there. Got about a 5-second lead now on Zach and Phillip, who pitted on lap 35. And here they come out to speed. We're just going to see if they're going to be able to cut them off and slow them down here. They jumped out in front. We'll see if that is going to work. Chris Smith back there as well. Looks like a little contact there. And that 12 got pushed back towards the back here of Phillip Bridgman. But he has lost the draft, and he is going to have to be fighting every way he can to get back up there. Nathan Brown makes that pass for the lead. Evan Kinney back in second. David Traylor in third. Kevin Becker and Jeremy Moore round out that top 5. 13 laps to go, all on the line here. Everybody's pretty well together. As the aid of Timothy Cook jumps up to that high line, is going to help Keith Prince and Jeremy Moore if they're going to try and get that outside line to move up here. Chris Smith, 5th on the inside. Championship contenders Nathan Brown and Evan Kinney 1-2 on the inside lane as well. Jeremy Moore on that outside is going to move up and take the lead just after that start-finish line. So he won't get credit for leading that lap, but he is close here now. Kevin Becker makes him 3 wide, shoots the gap in the middle. Going to try and stay there now. Nathan Brown gets a little loose in front of Evan Kinney, gathers it in, and they are back together, and we are 2 by 2 by 2. Like Chris Smith is starting to lose just a little bit of that draft, and if he does that, he could be in trouble momentarily. Trying to get some help there if he can get sucked back up to the back of the 54 of David Traylor. Nathan Brown, Evan Kinney still battling it out up here. Jeremy Moore on the high side. Keith Prince right behind him. Timothy Cook as well. Evan Kinney jumps up high. Gonna try and pass Nathan Brown. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. Basically, the top 10 positions are almost side by side by side. This is coming down to the money time here. As we get back towards the start-finish line, there will be 9 laps to go. Kevin Becker's all over the back of Nathan Brown, 69. And Jeremy Moore is pushing Evan Kinney up there as well. Chris Smith is not too far back there. He's 4th on the bottom right now. Sitting in a good, kind of comfortable spot there. As he was about ready to lose the draft earlier, but he's able to get sucked back in and now running 4th down low. Up high is Prince, Moore, and Kinney. But he's kind of bouncing around just a little bit as the 54 looks like he gets a little bit loose. The 85 of Kevin Becker down there as well. Like the 22 of Haas Beverly jumps up to that high lane. Timothy Cook is now back behind Chris Smith, back there 5th on the bottom. Eight laps to go when we get to that start-finish line. Kinney and Brown battling it up front for this championship right now. Chris Smith hanging back there just a little ways. Going to see if he can make a run at the last minute here. You see Jeremy Moore all over that back bumper in that Buffalo Trace 24. As Evan Kinney dives down to the inside, gets in front of Nathan Brown. So championship contenders now, looks like they are getting almost 1, 2, 3. As Chris Smith is trying to push Jeremy Moore back towards the front as we're 3 wide now. Like I said, anything can happen at Talladega. 7 laps to go. As that middle lane kind of drifts up just a little bit. Keith Prince almost into that outside wall. They're trying to stay off each other, but they're still 3 wide down the backstretch. Jeremy Moore takes the lead. Chris Smith up to 3rd. And Chris Smith is in front of the other 2 championship contenders. We'll see if he's going to be able to get that run and cap it off with a W as Evan Kinney is battling back down on the bottom. Nathan Brown sitting in 3rd now. And they are still 3 wide through the first 2 rows. Six to go. Chris Smith led that lap. Chris Smith gets a little loose, almost up into Keith Prince up there in that high line as they are still 3 wide. Now they're 3 wide through the first 4 rows. Chris Smith gets a little loose. Now they're 4 wide through the corner. Chris Smith into Keith Prince, and that will say that would bring out a caution, but so that will take Chris Smith out of contention here. Back and take a look as these guys are battling out real quick. See what happened here. This gets a little loose into Keith Prince, sends everybody around, and that will change the complexion of the race completely here. So up front, it's Evan Kinney getting pushed by Kevin Becker. Jeremy Moore down low with Nathan Brown there. So that is a hard luck situation for Chris Smith after battling so well. Went 4 wide there through the corner, and that is just not something that's going to work here at Talladega very well. Evan Kinney takes over the lead in front of Jeremy Moore. Kevin Becker slides down, and now it's down on that low line. They get on the apron, bounce around a little bit, but everybody kind of stays off of each other just a little bit. Everybody's still sliding around. It's a little push there from Kevin Becker, and Timothy Clark kind of slides around. We're going to be close here between Nathan Brown and Evan Kinney. Seven cars left up here. See if Nathan Brown can get past Kinney here. Three laps to go as I come down the backstretch. Evan Kinney, Nathan Brown, and now they're getting a 3 wide with Timothy Clark and Kevin Becker there. Evan Kinney stuck in the middle. Nathan Brown up high with Jamie LaRourke behind him. Both of them get a little loose, and now championship contenders are back in the field a little ways. Like they might have to work together if they want a chance to win this, as we are 2 to go. Evan Kinney stays up high. Gonna stay with Kevin Becker there. Nathan Brown now sitting 4th on that bottom lane. It looks like Evan Kinney gonna be battling for the win as the 8 gets loose, sends Kinney up. Nathan Brown down low, saves it, and we are still racing. Nathan Brown is slow on track, though. So that is probably going to give the race, or give the championship to Evan Kinney. They're still battling up front here for the win. We got Timothy Clark, who got a little loose and caused that incident there. Jeremy Moore up on the high line all by himself. Kevin Becker back in third, side by side with Moore. Jamie LaRourke and Evan Kinney, final lap. See if these guys can get it situated here. Kevin Becker in the middle. Evan Kinney jumps to the high side. Everybody's spinning now. Don't know what happened there exactly. We'll have to come back and take a look at that. But up front now, it's Timothy Cook, Jeremy Moore, and Evan Kinney. Timothy Clark trying to block Moore. Moore down low. Evan Kinney comes down, and it looks like that is going to be Timothy Cook there. Well, let's go back here. Take a look from a different view here. See what happened here. Oh, Jeremy Moore just barely bumped Becker and sent the 12 of Further Bridgebond around. Let's take a look here. As they come to the checkered flag. As they come to the checkered flag. Chris Smith just go by there after he lost that draft and was in that accident. There is the winner. Timothy Cook. So your championship winner here is going to be Evan Kinney. Give these guys a minute here and we'll see what we can do.
Hello?
Hey, Timothy, Mike up in the booth. How is it going, man?
Oh man, it's going great.
Well, you guys had a pretty clean race there. Had a couple of incidents coming towards the end there, but you were able to kind of stay out of trouble there and bring home the victory here.
Man, what a race we had there. Those last 5 laps are crazy. We're 3 wide, 2 by 3. Everyone's racing hard.
Yeah, it definitely was good, hard racing. Is that kind of what you expected the race to be like here?
Yeah, I expected little to no cautions and mostly just green flag racing.
Definitely. Well, anybody you want to thank before I let you go?
I want to thank my sponsor, LA Golf, and also my parents for watching the broadcast, and also you guys for being here and broadcasting.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you go celebrate your win there.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep. Hey, Jeremy. Didn't talk about you too much till you came to the end of the race. You were up front towards the end and gave yourself a chance to win. How was the view from your seat there?
The first 30 laps or so were a little boring. We were just trying to get through the pit stops without making a mistake. I almost did second pit stop getting onto pit road. But I had two of my teammates in the title hunt, and I didn't want to influence that too much, so I figured getting out in front would be the best way to do it. We had a little bit of contact at the end there, which took Nate out, but congratulations to Evan on the championship.
Definitely. Well, good run tonight. Anybody you want to thank before I let you go get your P2 finish here?
Well, Evan's been trying to push me to one of these restrictor plate wins for about a year now, and we almost had one. But Tim did a great job there. It blocked our move. We should have had a double move plan, but we didn't get that far ahead. So we'll get one of these times. But Kevin's on the team too, so the three of them, want to thank them for just racing with me and putting on this league.
Definitely. Well, congrats again on your P2 finish there.
Thank you, and thanks for broadcasting.
Yep, anytime. All right, Evan. Congrats on your championship win here.
Thank you very much. Didn't come the way that I wanted it to, Mike, but I'll take it. Made a little bit of contact with Nate with a couple laps ago and kind of put us in a spot where I was hoping we could race a little bit tighter at the end. So I apologize to Nate, but it was a good finish.
Yeah, you guys ran at least 45 laps pretty clean, and this Talladega is going to be Talladega when you get to those last 5 or 10 laps. So, I mean, you guys were 3x3x3 and kept it clean for quite a while. So, definitely good racing.
Yeah, we kind of like Jeremy said, kept it tame so we could get through the green flag stops without messing anything up, as well as save fuel because it was pretty tight. I was about 2/10 from running out there at the end, so we had to manage it pretty tightly. But yeah, it's a bummer Chris got taken out in one of those 3 wide stints there, but a lot of really fun racing at the end. Nate and I were in the same radio channel, just kind of bantering back and forth and trying to position ourselves where we could be in the lead spot. So it was a lot of fun.
Definitely. Well, anybody you want to thank for your championship season here?
Just you for putting on this broadcast, and then my teammates, and especially Nate for running the league and putting in all this hard work to get it to what it is, and hopefully we can grow the league pretty substantially. But huge shout out to Nate and to Chris as well for making it to the championship race, and hopefully we'll have a great next season.
Awesome. Well, I will let you go celebrate, and maybe I'll talk to you guys next season.
Sounds great. Thanks, Mike.
Yep. All right, so that is the top 3 and your championship winner here. Go ahead and run down the race results real quick. Got Timothy Cook bringing home the win. Jeremy Moore in second. Evan Kinney finishes third, but finishes better than Nathan Brown and Chris Smith to bring home the championship. Jamie LaRourke in fourth. Nathan Brown fifth. Kevin Becker, Haas Beverly, Trevor Ryan, Tom Richter, and Philip Bridgman round out the top 10. Zach Duscher and David Trailer in the top 12. Chris Smith and Kevin Prince round out the field in 13th and 14th. What was a heck of a race to come witness here from Talladega, and these championship races are always fun to broadcast. And like they said, if you are interested in joining, go ahead and hit them up either in the chat, and they will find you, or let us know, and we can get you hooked up there as well. But from everybody at the Brownney Racing League and everybody at Sim Racing Media, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching, and we will see you all next time. Good night.